Hi there, everyone, Miracles of God. Welcome to the practice of Lesson 8 from A Course in Miracles workbook for students. And we start thanking the Holy Spirit for this encounter and for the holy mind of the Son of God that is everyone. And I'm going to read the quote that belongs for this day, day 8. The quote from The Disappearance of the Universe, and it is this one. I lost it. Oh, here. The sentence 6. It says, "You are merely asked to return to God the mind as He created it. He asks you only for that. He asks you only for what He gave, knowing that this giving will heal you." I repeat, you are merely asked to return to God the mind as He created it. He asks you only for what He gave, knowing that this giving will heal you. And our lesson, now we go for lesson 8. Lesson 8. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This idea, of course, again. Lesson 8. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This idea is, of course, the reason why you see only the past. No one really sees anything. He sees only his thoughts projected outward. The mind's preoccupation with the past is the cause of the misconception about time from which your seeing suffers. Your mind cannot grasp the present, which is the only time there is. It therefore cannot understand time and cannot, in fact, understand anything. The only wholly true thought one can hold about the past is that it is not there, is that it is not here. To think about it at all is therefore to think about illusions. Very few have realized what is actually entailed in picturing the past or in anticipating the future. The mind is actually blank when it does this, because it is not really thinking about anything. The purpose of the exercises for today is to begin to train your mind to recognize when it is not really thinking at all. While thoughtless ideas preoccupy your mind, the truth is blocked. Recognizing that your mind has been merely blank, rather than believing that it is filled with real ideas, is the first step to opening the way to vision. The exercises for today should be done with eyes closed. This is because you actually cannot see anything, and it is easier to recognize that no matter how vividly you may picture a thought, you are not seeing anything. With as little investment as possible, search your mind for the usual minute or so, merely noting the thoughts you find there. Name each one by the central figure or theme it contains and pass on to the next. Introduce the practice period by saying, "I seem to be thinking about." Then name each of your thoughts specifically. For example, "I seem to be thinking about name of a person, about name of an object, about name of an emotion," and so on, concluding at the end of the mind searching period with, "But my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This can be done 4 or 5 times during the day, unless you find it irritates you. If you find it trying 3 or 4 times is sufficient. You might find it helpful, however, to include your irritation or any emotion that the idea for today may induce in the mind searching itself. And that was our lesson 8. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. It is a minute search where you find the thoughts that come along and you apply the idea to each one of the thoughts that cross your mind during the minute practice. I'm gonna set a minute and 20 seconds in the temporizer, I don't know how to call it, chronometer, and we find the thought and we apply the idea, today's idea, to the thought. You can do it with any thought that comes to your mind. For instance, I seem to be thinking, what time is it? But my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I seem to be thinking, did I close the door? But my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. And then any thought that comes to your mind, it's useful. So we start our minute practice. I'm going to count from 3 to 1. And we start with closed eyes. We start in 3, 2, 1. I seem to be thinking about I seem to be thinking about I seem to be thinking about, but my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I seem to be thinking about, but my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I seem to be thinking about, but my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. And we conclude our practice. We can open our eyes. And for today, we can do it 4 or 5 times during the day. That is the instruction, 4 or 5 times. But if it says that if it irritates you, you can do it 3 or 4 times. So remember, it's a minute practice. If you find it like stressful to set an alarm, well, the temporizer or whatever, you can make the calculum. How do you say that? Calculation. And then just before you go to bed, remember to do your practice. In that way, you'll have at least 2 practices. This one and the one that you do before you go to bed. And during the day, remember the lesson. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. And if you have a minute, take that minute to do the practice. And that is it. That's it for today. Thank you for joining, Mariana, Leti, Marisol, Ale, and have a nice day. Thank you for joining. Sylvia says hello, thanks. Oh, Sylvia, hi there. And we hope we practice all year long. Thank you so much for joining.